about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Parkway Trustees. So the first item on the agenda is introductions. To my right, Mr. Dave Short. To my left, Mr. Darius Thompson, Vice Chair, and I am Dwayne Staples, Chairperson. So the main thing that this meeting was called for tonight was to pick a contractor for the 2023 season for the maintenance, mowing and such of Swasey Parkway. We did get a bid on the 16th. We actually got two bids. One of them was lost here in the town hall. So we did receive a bid from the current contractor, which has not been opened yet, and we did receive a bid from Mr. French and Raymond, whose company name is Dream Yards LLC. And I met with Pam, and everything is written on this envelope that Jonathan provided, the current contractor. When he dropped it off, he actually had to come in, get a envelope from the town clerk. It ended up being mixed in with some mail in the water and sewer department, and then it was left in the mailbox of the town manager, which they were away, him and Pam, for a seminar, so it took a while to find this. So I'd like to open this up tonight.
No objections?
Okay, Dave?
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we thought had happened.
Yeah. Well, and I had talked to Jonathan that day too. He told me that he dropped it off, and so. So at the present time, we have two bids from two different contractors. Dream Yards LLC, who's a new contractor, and the reason that we delayed picking one was we have always checked out the references for the new contractors. I did that. Mr. French provided us with 4 references. I did call to him, all of them, and they all gave him great reviews. One was a condo, relatively big. The other one was a residential, bigger residential, about 1.5 acres. And then there were 2 others that he does. He does provide them with everything that is on our bid: mowing and trimming, spring cleanup, fall cleanup, and pruning. So, the pricing for these, the bid item number 1 is mowing and trimming. Both companies are at $500 per mow.
Even.
What's that?
Even.
Even, 500
Was
each.
French aware of that strip on the riverside of the fence?
He contacted Pam, the town manager's assistant, the day before the bids were to be in. So he did not get in touch with me. I know Pam did send him my contact information. It is in the bid packet,
Okay, well,
in the bid specs, so,
because like 3 years ago, there was a little confusion over that, so.
correct.
All right. Spring and fall cleanup then?
Bid item number 2 is spring cleanup. Mr. French is at $1,000. Jonathan All Natural is at $1,150. Bid item number 3, fall cleanup. Mr. French is at $2,200. Jonathan is at $2,500. Pruning, which we have not had All Natural do, but because of our pruning specs, we do that a little bit differently. But they did give us a bid on pruning. Mr. French is at $1,800. Jonathan is at $1,950, which...
But we don't want them doing it.
Well, again, our specs call for a pretty intensive knowledge of plant material, how to prune. So if we have used a different contractor in the past, and that is an item on the agenda for a little bit later on. So,
You said fall cleanup was 2,500 from
no,
All Natural?
all natural is 1,950.
That's the pruning.
Oh, sorry.
So 2,500.
2,500 for the fall cleanup, I apologize.
Okay.
Yes. So they're not, they're really not that far off in pricing.
And as far as the pruning aspect goes, that's a separate, we have the option to,
We have separated that out
Right.
since I have been on, actually, since I've been on the board, we have separated that out. And years ago, the trustee board had separated that out also. My company did pruning for the parkway, and we did not do the mowing and cleanup. So.
okay. Well, given that we've segmented out the pruning, I would like to make a motion for consideration to remove the pruning as a separate line item, if we need to officially do that, in consideration of these two specific bids.
Yeah, it tidies it up a little bit, I guess. Doesn't hurt.
If we've separate, for discussion, this hasn't been seconded, if we've looked at our specifics for pruning and we're being very specific, we've gone out and used a different vendor for that, then it would make sense just to strike that as a line item for this consideration and only look at the mowing, spring and fall cleanup for the respective two bids.
Yeah, second, sorry.
All right. Any further discussion? So it's been moved and seconded to remove the pruning
Line item.
line item from the current bid. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So it is a vote in the affirmative. So we will handle the pruning as a separate line item during the season.
Yep.
So, again, I go back to, the pricing isn't that far off from either one of them. We do not have to take the lowest bid, so I will open it up for discussion as to how the other two feel about this.
I think they're both very fair prices. And as close as they are, Jonathan's a known quantity. And he's performed well. He's been very responsive to any requests we've had about his performance, put it that way. There's been things where initially he wasn't doing them maybe as the way we'd like him, and he's never pushed back on meeting what we're setting as standards. So for the few extra bucks, to me, I kind of consider that a wash, and dealing with a known quantity like that would be worth it to me.
I don't disagree. I just don't disagree.
I will say that I have spoken to Jonathan over the last 3 seasons that he's been there. Anything that we've had to address, he's taken care of. He's been very responsive. I've had no problems with him. So I would say he is a known quantity. the pricing is close enough that I would feel comfortable with going with him again, so.
Okay.
I mean, this summer, God, we had little or no contact with him because things were getting done on time,
Right.
and he was working around the events that were there. You know, he just took care of business.
Okay. Well, I would like to make a motion that we proceed with his bid acceptance, striking the line items we discussed earlier for the pruning. So I'm good.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. It's a vote in the affirmative. In our bid packet, it says that we would notify the contractors either way on November 30th, so I will take care of that tomorrow.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right? Thank you, guys. That brings us to tree and shrub pruning. I have met with a contractor. And I'm waiting to get some pricing from him. I have not marked out anything that I think that should be pulled out down there, only because I just went through and we talked about the pruning, and I would want to kind of wait to pull anything out. I don't want to do it this late in the season and, leave a big mess and not knowing if we're going to actually have some good moisture in the spring to do something with that, so. And we still have the planting behind the Harris Center to think about in the spring. So but I would like to proceed with the pruning. The contractor is Jake Short. And again, I have not. I've asked him to give me some pricing. So I'm just waiting on that. But I have looked back, probably the last 4 or 5 years that I've been here to see what it costs. And I know what it cost when we were doing the pruning, when my company was doing the pruning. So I would like to make a motion that we allot up to $4,000 for the pruning. I think that's where it hasn't been done for a couple seasons, and a lot of those shrubs down there need to be taken back again because we missed last year. I think that is a fair price, and if they, Jake can certainly go by our bid specs.
Will that be enough to cover what needs to get done, what needs to get pruned?
Yes.
I don't have any opposition to it.
So I put that in the form of a motion.
I'm going to recuse myself from that one.
Okay,
That's
so,
fine.
yeah, if it's enough to, take care of what needs to be done, I think we should be prudent about it in the sense of up to 4,000. Like, hopefully that when it comes to the proposal, it's not necessarily 4,001, but
No, correct.
Well, you're actually proposing it as a not to exceed.
not to
Correct.
exceed. Okay,
Not
yeah.
to exceed.
So
All right, that's fine.
hopefully it's less.
All right, so I would say if we're making a proposal to not to exceed $4,000, I would make that as a motion.
Okay, and I will second it. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. How about any word on the tree?
Yeah, I met down there with Will.
Okay,
And
great.
we're trying to figure out a pricing structure going forward, because there's going to be a continual need down there for different levels of work, and we want to come up with something that reflects reflects the continual nature of the work, while at the same time being fair to the company. And because it is valuable. Like this summer, we had that tree, that big oak that dropped that large limb.
Correct.
And there was some hazardous stuff down there, and he was able to get in there right away, like within the day, and take care of it. And there's value in that. And so I guess there's a bunch of different factors there, and trying to balance it all out so that we can come up with some kind of equitable arrangement between the Parkway, Curtis, and that way whether it's a maintenance type situation, which can be done kind of at leisure as something you keep in your back pocket, or in the case of something that's a hazard that needs to be addressed more quickly, and how we can come up with some kind of formula that reflects all that and works, because you don't want to be jumping around at all different kinds of contractors every time something comes up. You want to have your go-to guy. It's kind of like lawn maintenance in a way.
Right.
So if I understand what I think you're saying, is that something not necessarily like a retainer, but a contingency retain,
No.
or something to the effect of, is there something that makes sense that this would be the person that we would contact when there's an issue or something that comes up that would have maybe the first right of refusal or something of that nature, the opportunity to come and take care of it if they need to?
There's an element of that for sure.
But wouldn't necessarily be on a retained service, but maybe a different fee structure that says, okay, kind of for the first call, or for this, or for some type of fee structure that says, okay, we're going to come to you for these type of thing when it occurs, try to give you as much notice as possible, something that happens, but they would be able to come in and say, yeah, I can do this or I can't do it. But
there's going to be, there's going to be different ones where there's going to be work there that, like, as a contractor, there's value in having a job there that you kind of just keep in your hip pocket, where if you get a day where something else falls through, or if you get done early doing something else,
right,
to have that and say, okay, hey, you know what, we're going to jump down here for a while. And there's value there for the contractor. For the town, the value is when you have a situation where there's a hazard, say, and being able to call that person up and knowing that they'll address it as quickly as possible.
okay.
Well,
And establishing that kind of relationship.
and what comes to mind on that one is that hemlock that pileated woodpecker did a few years ago, right behind the COVID trailers for the academy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That,
Devastated.
He
Had a hole about this big through it.
yeah, it had 2 holes in it.
Yeah.
So, I was able to get a tree contractor there the next day because they were in the area. But
Right.
I agree. I think that I think it's important to have that relationship with somebody that we can get in if we need to in a situation like that. And then as far as the pruning goes, because those trees are getting older, and we've done a lot of pruning to them, but they still need to have, some maintenance pruning done. And
Well, we don't get to the point, again, say in 5 to 10 years, where it's this massive operation like
Right.
it was this past spring.
Right,
Keep up with it.
right.
So something in the terms of a list of projects that can be done on a long-term basis over a year, that as they have time, they can come in and do them. They're not, in other words, these are smaller projects that
Or they can
are
do it-
maintenance issues that need, these are maintenance pruning,
Yeah.
maintenance pruning as an example, with the option to be called in as the first person when we have something that, that we need immediate assistance on.
Yep, and also having somebody who's going to be, if you have one person of good character, they're going to kind of take ownership also of the entire property, and maybe, try to preemptively act on things that are becoming a problem before they become a bigger problem. Instead of just putting their head down, coming in, doing the job that we talked about, and then leaving, they're looking at it very holistically. And I think Will's that kind of person. So, anyways, we've just been talking about that. And one thing that, this is kind of an aside that came up while we were looking at it. Remember that big cherry behind the housing authority to the left by the fence that needs to come down?
Yes.
Yep.
That is probably primo firewood. Is there anything stopping us? Like, I'm sure Exeter has some sort of fuel assistance program for people in town, that need help paying for their heating and stuff like that. And there's people that heat with wood. Now, we don't want people down there, obviously, running chainsaws
Right.
and cutting up
Correct.
wood. But if the wood was sectioned up, could we, through whoever runs the fuel assistance program, offer something like that?
Let me ask,
I was hoping Nico would be here because I wanted to ask him that tonight.
right, well, let me ask, because I have 3 or 4 other people that I know that have cut wood for a long time, and over the last few years, there was not the demand there with the oil being so inexpensive. So, they were sitting on quite a lot of cordwood. I can remember years and years ago when, yes, cordwood was part of a fuel assistance. So let me ask some questions about that. I'm not even sure who does that right at the moment for the town, but I know there was a person that used to take care of that.
Yeah, because Will said, if we're going to go through the effort of doing something like that, let's make sure it goes to somebody who truly needs the wood and is not just, a person who burns wood but is
Right.
under no financial duress.
Yeah.
We want to be helping somebody that really needs the help.
Right.
Yeah, let me work on that.
Okay.
All right.
And while I was down there meeting with him, or prior to and after, I also went through and I dropped all those granite bounds, or the granite markers on the trees.
Oh, yes.
I sunk all those into the ground.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
those are all set now, too.
All right, thank you.
Yep. So,
Great. Okay. There is one, I didn't put other business on here, but there is one item of other business that I wanted to bring up tonight.
Okay.
And actually, it's Dave's sister was inquiring to him, which he sent me an email about, or forwarded me her email with the question. And she's been down there watching the eagles and the birds, and she's been watching people watch that. So her interest was to see if there was any interest in maybe getting, and the only thing I can think of is the binoculars at Niagara Falls.
Yeah, where you put a quarter in them.
Yeah. But
something along those lines.
something along those lines, not necessarily, doing that, doing the money thing. But she also included, which really caught my interest, they make a handicapped one. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, she wanted to know if there was some interest in that from us moving forward, trying to find out some information on maybe getting some funding for that.
Well, she mainly wanted to know that if we had any objection to a group moving forward with trying to put something like that together, or if there'd be any restriction on doing something like that. And so that's why I forwarded the email so we could discuss it tonight. And if there is no objection to doing that, then she knows some people and would be interested in going forward with trying to research just what it would take to put that in place, possible sources of funding, whether it's private. It'd even be something to throw in at Kristen, because she's a tremendous grant hunter. She might know off the top of her head some form of grant that could be gotten to do something like that too.
Yeah, the area that she suggested is where the flagpole is down there. There's that outlook with the flagpole and all, which is prime eagle viewing for, across the street and across the river there. So,
well, and up and down the river.
Right, yeah.
You can really, the herons are out, the ducks are out,
Yep.
all that.
So I did not forward that until, I thought we could talk about it.
Certainly.
I
think I only sent it to you this morning, didn't I?
No. It's been a couple days, I think.
Has it?
Yeah, but because if it came in this morning, I probably didn't have time to read it. But I did read it. I was very interested in her idea. So I wanted to talk about it, and so now I feel I can forward it to you guys. So again, it's an interesting idea. Let's keep it on the radar, because I would like to, let me ask if there are any restrictions about putting it on that Outlook or whatever. Let me see if I can find some answers on that. If there is none, then, we can put it on the agenda to move forward with it.
Well, why don't you, if you find out that there's not, just let me know.
Okay.
And I'll tell her then to maybe proceed and do a little more investigation on the whole process of getting one of those mounted and all that costs and all that sort of thing.
All right. I know you haven't seen that, but
No, I haven't seen it. But just from the standpoint of one, and we need to do, it's kind of near and dear to my heart that basically anything that we do in the park, whether it's we're able to do it, it should be accessible to everybody. And I really that struck a nerve with me that putting the binoculars in there would be great to view and see things close up, but it would be something I think would be worth pursuing, because that gets you not looking at a screen. It gets you looking at nature and observing what's around. And I think it just will add to the mission of enjoying this wonderful outdoor space that we're caretakers for, so.
The literature does show, I mean, obviously, you can have one that you would stand at and
Right.
look, but it does show the handicap one. So, yeah, I was, that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
So let me ask.
Okay, well
And
then-
see how we move forward with this, if that's okay with everybody.
Yep.
All right, great.
Would say to anyone that has other ideas like that, we welcome them. Please, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, I'm open to look at any of those ideas.
Absolutely.
And talk about them. So,
Well, it's like the water fountain,
well,
Right.
yeah, yep.
That's, it's infrastructure, but it's for a much greater good. Get rid of some of the damn plastic bottles.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
And we can, one day include all that information in the kiosk.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the only other business that I had. Anybody else have any other?
I'm good.
Nope.
Darius?
Nope. I only have one other item.
Okay.
There's a motion to adjourn if we have other items.
Next
meeting.
meeting date. So we normally do not meet in December because of the holidays, because our meeting date would be very close to Christmas. So that means we would meet again in January. If we keep the third Wednesday, that's January 18th.
As far as the,
Or we could go to January 25th. Any preference?
I'm okay on the 18th, unless I have an appointment to be somewhere other than that, I should be fine.
All right. So I'll set that up. 1/18/23. Okay, great. Before we adjourn, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Same to you.
And
Likewise.
anybody who's watching, Merry Christmas from the Swasey Trustees, and I hope you enjoy your holidays. Now.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
ready.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So we adjourn at 5:34.
34.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.